What is up, Bradford Bass family? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 3, sort of the Minn Kota Terrova install. Today we're going to be talking about hooking up all the power for the Terrova, mounting the stabilizer bar, etc. But the reason I said sort of is because I actually had my GoPro set up and I did not hit record. I thought I hit record. Sometimes I think I must have double tapped the button or something. So when I was going through all this and hooking all this up, it was never actually recording. So I'm very bummed about that because I spent a lot of time on the first 2 videos, and I was really hoping to make this a detailed video as well. But unfortunately, I already have it all done. But I am going to go through real quick and kind of show you guys what I did and explain to you the best I can. So, getting into the motor itself, what I did, and I'm actually going to have to change this. So the power itself for the Terrova, I ended up cutting off the cord end off the Minn Kota edge and splicing it into the cord that comes with the Terrova. The issue with that is the cord that comes off of the Terrova, it comes off the Minn Kota edge, is actually a number 10 gauge, and the wire that comes off the Terrova is 8 gauge. So I actually ordered a new plug, and I'm going to redo that connection. I just basically temporarily just went in because I wanted to get it out on the water and try it out, and it worked great. So, but I'm still going to change that plug to the correct size. But basically all I did was splice it in here in the middle of this, and then I put some corrugated tubing on it to try to clean it up a little bit. You know, this is one thing that I don't like about this whole install. There's a lot of cables, a lot of coils. It's not the cleanest look. I could have ran this underneath this panel, but I really wanted to use the plug. I didn't want to hardwire it in. But with that being said, doing that, it leaves you this huge amount of slack. Now I could cut the cord down, but I don't want to do that either because I don't want to, if I ever want to do something different with it, or if I sell the boat or whatever, I don't want to limit the options. So I just coiled it up for right now. But I am going to try to do something to try to clean this up a little bit to make it look a little better. So that's how I actually hooked up the power for the Terrova. Now getting into the transducer, you saw in part 1 the bicycle lock, and that's what this is for right here. And once again, this is another big old hunk of junk of crap, but it does the job, it works. So I mounted the PT.3 transducer on the bottom. As you can see, it barely fits on there, but it does fit. And then I use this ring right here, this quick release clip that I call them D rings. I don't know what they're actually called. Hooked that bike chain on there, and I basically just tie wrapped the transducer cord all the way around all these coils. You know, and that's how you try to manage the cable from your transducer. And it also gives it the free rein because the Terrova, unlike the Edge, will spin 360 degrees. So having this on here allows it to do the full spin cycle. But just like I said about the power on the Terrova, I do not like this big wadded mess. It bothers me. So I'm going to be looking to do something different probably at some point, but it does work. I had it on the water yesterday and it does work. So, and I got this idea from Mark Blackstock. Like I said, I don't know if that's something he came up with, but that's where I got the idea from, and it works. There's not a whole lot to it. Just a ton of tie wraps, really. And then basically, I took it up here, then I put another D-ring on the other end of the bike cable, and then I clipped it onto the quick release bar and held it right there. Now, I might actually take this and hook it somewhere else, and I think that might help make this look a little better than it does. But for right now, that's what I got. So, getting over to the actual... Basically, the only thing I did different on my Garmin is I put a little corrugated tubing right here to clean up the wires for the transducer cable and the power cable. When I hooked up, the power stuff, so basically you got 2 power connections you got to hook up when you're installing the Terrova. You got to hook up your trolling motor power, and then you got to hook up your head sensor, your puck for your GPS. And the head sensor, the puck GPS, I just tied it right into the same power as I used for the power of my Garmin's. And then obviously your trolling motor power is a separate power cable. If you're new to owning this boat and you haven't installed any electronics up front, there is underneath this panel right here, there is a couple wires coming from the dash, coming from the console, that brings power up here so you can add electronics or whatever. So there's a positive and negative. When I installed the sensor, the head sensor, I installed it over here on the right side of this panel. It says to install it parallel with the keel of the boat. So I did the best I could with that. I took it out, it seemed to work fine. So pretty simple install there. It's just 2 screws that you screw down. And it comes with a really long cable. I ran that over underneath this panel and spliced it in with the power for that I'm using on the electronics on my Garmin. So that's it on the wiring part, I think, guys. And really the only other thing is the stabilizer bar that I mounted. So you can see here I got the stabilizer bar mounted and it worked out really well. You actually have to, you need some kind of saw. I use a Sawzall, but you can use a hacksaw. But it comes with these little notches on this, and you have to cut the ones off that you don't need. So you basically fit it in there to where you want it, and then to the right size for your application, and then you cut off the extra ones because the way it comes out of the packaging is actually too tall. And it's pretty simple. This thing right here just snaps off like that. So basically you lay this down, pre-drill your holes with a 9/64 drill bit, run these screws in, and honestly you don't even have to pre-drill these holes on the Tracker Classic XL because our deck is wood, so the screws will just drive right into it, so you don't really have to pre-drill it. And then you just snap this back on. Maybe see if I can get it. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it on my phone. Piece of crap. Well, I wasn't expecting this. Jesus, there it is. Now it's back on there. Sorry about that. Operator error. And then also you have this coil right here that comes with the Minn Kota Terrova. I don't think it comes with all of them. Basically this coil is if you have a Humminbird unit, or I guess you can buy it, there's a piece that you can buy to convert to any other unit, but this Garmin, as you can see right here, has a transducer built into the bottom of it. I mean, not this Garmin, but this Terrova has a transducer built into the bottom of it. That's what this cord right here is for, is to hook into your Humminbird unit. But if you want to use that transducer for any unit, I guess you could buy a different piece to connect into your Garmin or your Lowrance, whatever it is you're using. I decided just to use the transducer I already had, so I just basically just coiled it up here at the head of the trolling motor. So I took it on the water, guys. It worked really good. It is an absolute game changer, 100%. I'm so glad I finally did this. I wish I would have done it sooner. Now it has to sit here for a few months, you know, through the winter. I'll tell you here on the aluminum plate, it worked like a champ. The trolling motor has no move in it whatsoever, and it was pretty rough out there yesterday. The aluminum plate, I'm 100% confident, was the way to go with this install to help to keep the stress off those welds. All the stress was put on this plate. Nothing was put here. And I don't know if I showed you guys this in the first video. I actually put, I don't know if you can see here, I put the spacers between the aluminum and the actual boat itself. So every one of those screws has that rubber spacer between it. So when that's pushing down, those rubber spacers those rubber washers are help absorb some of the force. So that's something, I don't know if I included that into the video when we were in part 2. I know I recorded it, but I don't know if I actually put that clip in there. I might have forgot to put it in there. So, but the plate worked great. Trolling motor worked great, guys. yeah, that's about all there is for this video. There's not a whole lot to it, guys. I apologize once again that I didn't have the step-by-step process. I tried. Unfortunately, my fat fingers must have hit the record button twice and turned it off. So I hope you guys like this. I hope this helps somebody with their decisions, whether when they go to install the Terrova or maybe a different trolling motor even, you know, just maybe give you some ideas. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button if you would, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.